Oh, Crash Bandicoot, you sneaky devil. No, you're a Bandicoot. Anyway, yes, okay, you are teasing a new game. It's almost certainly going to be Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League. Very excited to find out what that is. But since we've got some Crash on the brain, let's talk about my favourite Crash Bandicoot level from every mainline Crash game. So, because it's just the mainline versions, no deviations like the Game Boy Advance version of Nitro Kart, or the mobile titles, or the more obscure games like Crash Anywhere. Look at Aku Aku, he's definitely bash you anywhere, and Crash looks like he wants to die, so he will indeed crash anywhere. So, starting with Crash Bandicoot 1, and my favourite level is Slippery Climb. Just what an intense difference this is. The game has already gotten darker once you reach the third island, but something about Slippery Climb, you know, you are climbing up the side of this massive castle. It is quite intense with the rain. It is, how could you word it? A slippery climb. Yeah, you could say that. No, but genuinely, if you were actually there, the most terrifying thing you could ever do. It would be so unstable. But it's such intense platforming, and it's so fun, and I love every single bit of this level. And it's just creepy, like the prisoners just grabbing their hands out at you. Like, it's just weird. And it's brilliant. It's such a brilliant level, and the music's great. It raises the bar, and I absolutely love it. For Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, my favourite level is Snow Go. Yes, the second level of the game. The first warp room is such a great introduction to the game. It has 5 very different levels, each doing different things, and I absolutely adore what this level does. Sliding on ice is so fun. The 2D segment is so varied compared to the 3D, but also equally as fun. And also, you know, level 2, still pretty simple, but it's still throwing some stuff at you. There's a sneaky little Nitro destruction crate, and yeah, like people say Crash Bandicoot 4's crates are hidden cruelly, and that is true, but you know, level 2, it's not exactly obvious, but it's there. But there's also the red gem. Like, this, as a kid, I didn't know how to get this, because why would you? It's like, it's not exactly the most obvious thing in the world, jumping to a platform in Air Crash, but it's so satisfying to discover, and like try, like I spent hours just trying to do like crazy jumps at it in the hope magically I will reach it, and you know what, I didn't. Crash Bandicoot Warped! This is Tomb Raider. Yes, Tomb Raider. It's such a great pun, and it's a really fun, intense level. The water is rising and lowering, and it's all about making sure you reach a safe spot on time, and it's so good. Like, the level design is really well designed so that you can, you know, you have to like waste time to get there on time, and it's so good. And like, obviously it's got enemies that aren't necessarily a threat, but you know, like push you back, so it's just like, oh okay, yeah, you're here just to waste my time, and it's so clever. And then you got the death route, which is way harder, and again, just so fun. Like, the beautiful thing about playing games like this is you really get to see the developers flex their muscles. They know what makes a game good, and this is the kind of level where it really gets to showcase, yeah, we know what the gimmick is, we know how to make it even better than you think it's going to be. And it's so fun. Crash Team Racing, my favourite track. Genuinely a hard one, but I think it's Sewer Speedway. Sewer Speedway in the original Crash Team Racing is so fun. The way that you just drive around the walls is so fun. Like, discovering that shortcut as a kid was such a big deal. And like, because like, you could probably see it, like I can't really remember, it was so long ago, but I could probably see it, and I was like, how do I get the angle to it, how do I get the height? And then like, when you learn, you know, it's just like, oh, that's great, and then it's learning about getting it consistently. But being able to drive around the walls of it, especially like when you're going at top speed, it's such a fun track. There is nothing quite like it. And there are other tracks later on where you have a lot more speed, like, because there's like Engine Lab springs to mind, but there's something about Sewer Speedway, just the thrill of movement, and like, you have so much control even when you're in the air a lot. It's so satisfying. For Crash Bash, it is Space Bash, because of course it is, and I think it's fair to say especially the crystal, because of, you know, every single crate is either a Nitro or a TNT, and you can only spin them, and you can, or kick them or whatever, and every one makes the floor disappear, and it's just insanity, and I love it. I love it. It's so good. This is exactly the kind of thing Crash Bash was made for. Crash Bash has problems here and there, but it is generally a good time, and I absolutely love this stage. Crash Wrath of Cortex is Compactor Reactor. Yes, it's in the first world, and that's not to say that there aren't great levels later on. Oh, there absolutely are. Fahrenheit Frenzy is super good. The Cortex Vortex final level is so fun, but something about Compactor Reactor really makes me happy. You've got that cool minecart section at the beginning, and it's just like, oh, there's like a secret thing over there. What's that? How do I get to it? And then later on, you just come out of the minecart and you go into this lab, and it's so satisfying to traverse through. But also, I think partially because of the music. The music of Compactor Reactor is astonishing. I would argue that the music in Wrath of Cortex a lot of the time surpasses the music of the original games. And that's not to say the original game's music is bad. Oh, no. It is phenomenal music. But something about Wrath of Cortex, they really go all out to make every theme just epic, and it works. So yeah, I really loved this level. It's a lot of fun. Now we got the Game Boy Advance games, or at least a couple of them. Crash Bandicoot XS, otherwise known as A Huge Adventure. My favourite level is Snow Job, because the name Snow Job, but also because it's actually just a really fun level. Yeah, it's another ice level, but what I love about Crash Bandicoot XS is they were able to translate the levels from Crash 2 and 3 into a 2D space. I mean, some levels in Crash 2 and 3 had 2D sections of it, of course, but you know what I mean, like the whole thing being 2D, and it works really well. They actually did a fantastic job, and I think that is probably why the Crash games do work so well on the Game Boy Advance, because we've already experienced the 2D nature of it. I think that it's a really great level. The chase sequence is really fun. There's a couple of chase sequences in the snow levels, but it is a really fun one. And yeah, I think it's a great level. There's a lot of great levels in the game, but this one stood out to me. Entranced. My favourite level is Wild Nile Ride. Now, this is after the first quote-unquote final boss, Entranced, and yeah, I really like this one. What's great about it is it's just a really long but tall level, and you just slide down pretty much the whole thing, and because it has an ability you do have the super slide, it's just ridiculous how you can move through the level. But yeah, it's so fun. Crash Nitro Kart. This is console version. Now, I had to think about this. I wasn't sure. I like Clockwork Womper a lot. I like Deep Sea Driving, but I have to go with Out of Time. What I love about this, and I think you'll agree, is driving up the clock face. It is so cool. As a kid, you're like, oh man, I can see the clock, that's cool. Like, it's so good. It's such a good idea. Like, it's so simple. But you've got the mechanic to, you know, anti-grav, so do it, yeah, like, let's go up a clock. That's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Crash Twinsanity. My favourite is Slip Slide Ice Capades, also known as Humiliscate. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? It's just, the music is ridiculous, the scenario is bonkers, as is all of Crash Twinsanity, but it is such a fun level, just sliding down the mountain, destroying Cortex's nuts, giving himself a lap dance from his mother. You know, all of it is great. It's just so fun, and it's just so stupid, and I love Crash Twinsanity, and I would be so okay if it got a remake or a reimagining. It'd be so fun. But yeah, Humiliscate, good stuff. Crash Purple. My favourite is the Spyro battle, and I know what you're thinking, the boss can be beaten in like 1 second, I know, and it's stupid, but you fight Spyro with Molotov cocktails, and it's so dumb, and I love it. Like, what more can I say? Crash Tag Team Racing. Now, this was a tough one, because there's some really great tracks in here, and there's also some fantastic platforming sections, but it's bowling, baby! I love the bowling in Crash Tag Team Racing. It has no right being as fun as it is, but oh my god, it's so fun. It's so good. Crash Boom Bang. Bad game, generally all around, but atmosphere rolling, alright minigame. Kind of like the pizza one as well, but I went with atmosphere rolling, because you're rolling down a big hill. And you know what? We've already established that I like that, so let's go with it. Crash of the Titans, Temple of Zoom. Yeah, this is an early game level, but there's a lot of really good levels in the game. It's just, something about this was like the moment where it hit me. I was like, actually, this game's got a lot going for it. The Titans that you're able to jack in this level are really fun. The level itself is super fun. You got the sliding section on Aku Aku. You got the really cool boss at the end. Yeah, it's just like there's a lot of really fun sections in this level, and yeah, like on reflection, looking at the level list and thinking back to this level, I'm like, yeah, this is a really good time. Crash Mind Over Mutant gets a lot of flack, and I don't really understand why. I feel like it is a vastly superior game to Crash the Titans. The Titans are, if not cooler, better to control. The platforming is way more varied and just involved. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff with, you know, like wall running and whatnot. And yeah, I really enjoyed the Ice Prison. I thought the Ice Prison was such a fun level. There was a lot going on. And yeah, just a really generally good time. Like, Mind of a Mutant, the whole game I really enjoyed. Like, there's just a lot of really cool stuff. Like, one of the Final Titans has like that slow down time ability. Like, and it's just like that's cool. Like, there's some really cool stuff in this game, and the cutscenes are absolutely hilarious. I don't really understand why everyone just hates on it as much as they do, because, like, yeah, I just think it's better than Titans, but that's just my opinion. Sane Trilogy. Now, you may have been thinking, oh, you're not going to mention that because it's just, you know, a remake. And no, I'm going to mention the Insane Trilogy because it had new levels. That's right, it had Stormy Ascent. But Stormy Ascent is not actually the one I'm going for. The one I'm going for is Future Tense. Future Tense is such a clever level. What I love about Future Tense is the hazards in the mirrors. That it's such a simple design concept, but it's so cool and it works so well, and the level is super hard and super fun, and I absolutely adore it. I just, oh, so good. So good. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Now, God, this was a hard one to choose, because tracks like Cortex Castle, I loved them in the original game, but they're made better because you got the blue flame, and that blue flame is going to carry around the whole thing. Nitro Kart levels, some which were good but not great, are made so much better because they have changed the level design around, because there's not the anti-grav feature, and you know what? It works really well. They are so fun. But my favourite is actually Twilight Tour. Twilight Tour, something about that track just spoke to me. It's the first brand new track of the game. It was with the first season that they were doing monthly seasons, and I guess, like, I wasn't burnt out at that point because I was playing the game religiously for like an entire year, but no, Twilight Tour was so fun, and it still is, and it's one of the few that I have actually beaten the dev times on, and it just, I absolutely love it. It's just an absolute joy to drive, and I'm never going to get tired of it. So yeah, Twilight Tour's the one for me. And then finally, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. I think this is a controversial entry. There's a lot of great levels in this game, for sure. There, you could pick a handful and be like, yeah, that's totally fair enough. But my favourite, controversially, is Cortex Castle. That final gauntlet is the pinnacle of platforming. It is absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, it has some really great sections at the beginning as well. It's actually primarily a 2D level than a 3D level, but it's so good. Like, that final section, oh my god, like, it is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Just switching from mask to mask to mask, being able to control every little bit. And it's designed so well that it is just so perfectly free-flowing. And I totally get people hate it because they died like 100 times. I fully understand that. But man, I loved everything about this level. It is so good. And with that, my list is done. This was just a short little improvised thing that I wanted to do, just talk about my favourite levels, because, hey, we're getting Crash news. It's time to talk about Crash again. If it's Wumpa League, I'm looking forward to seeing what Wumpa League is going to be like, but I'm really excited to find out. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I very much appreciate it. If you would leave a like and subscribe, I will be covering a bunch of Wumpa League stuff, so stick around for that. But I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.